Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, today I have part 3 of the Wendigo series. Now I will admit this part is particularly scary, so for those who do not like scary content such as blood, murder, and stuff like that, then please skip to episode 4, please. Because I honestly was a little scared when I was writing this. Now, don't judge me, but it did give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. So, for all those who do not like scary content, please do not watch this. And I will continue with the story, and I will like to give a bit of a hint. In further episodes, there will be more scary content, because this is the Wendigo series. Wendigos, you know, the whole heebie-jeebie thing. Well, if you did not realize that, then please do not continue watching this series if you don't like scary, spooky stuff. So, yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see part 4. And if you haven't seen part 1 or 2 yet, then I would highly recommend that you watch those first before continuing with the series. And let's get to it. It was 5:26 in the morning when your eyes fluttered open, suddenly remembering where you were. You looked around and saw that the cabin and bunk beds were empty. You thought for a moment, sitting upright. "Hey guys," you called out, but there was no answer. You climbed down the wobbly ladder of the bunk you were sharing with Kaminari, confused as to where everyone went. "Come on guys, this isn't funny." You checked the bathrooms in the living room, finding no one in sight. This time, you yelled, hoping someone would hear you. "Kirishima? Bakugo? Is anyone here?" Nothing but silence. Your heart began to pound in slight panic, rushing out the front door into the cool night air. It was dark, the sun having yet to shine its light over the land. You whipped around, calling out the names of your two best friends. "Bakugo! Kirishima! Where are you? This isn't the time to be playing games! Answer me!" That's when you heard the sound of a branch snap, somewhere along the edge of the woods, the wind whistling through the branches of the dead trees. You began to walk towards the darkness, taking slow steps. "Guys, is that you?" Someone finally answered, but all you heard was a raspy, hushed tone, like someone had been running. Kirishima then appeared out of the thicket, collapsing to the ground while gasping for air. He looks up at you with fear in his eyes, hands trembling. "Firecracker, where were you? Everyone has scattered into the forest, and Bakugo and I got separated, and I don't know what to do." You kneeled in front of him, hands on his shoulders. "Kirishima, what's wrong? What do you mean everyone has scattered? I need details." A tear fell down Kirishima's face, panic settling in. "There's something out there. It came after us, and it was chasing Bakugo and I before we got separated, Firecracker. Please, you have to help me. We have to find Bakugo." Kirishima was cut off when he heard the sound of heavy footsteps, grabbing your arms like he never had before. "It's here! Firecracker, run!" Something then snagged Kirishima's leg by the ankle of his jeans, dragging him into the darkness of the forest. He screamed in terror as he was pulled back, but then was silenced by a sickening crack of bone. You froze, eyes wide with horror. "Kirishima!" you yelled, but were then met by the sight of two glowing eyes. They were bright yellow, and solely focused on you. You began to back away, only making the creature step forward out of the brush. It was tall, lean, and its slit mouth full of devilishly sharp teeth. It had antlers like a deer, but was too big to even be a moose. The creature towered over you, snarling like a beast. You noticed its fangs were covered in blood, making you sick to your stomach. As the beast drew nearer, you tripped over a tree's roots, falling on your back. You tried to scramble away, but the monster pinned you using its large claws. You gasped, now staring straight into the beast's gaze, before everything went black. You were then awakened by the sound of Bakugo's voice, having been shaken awake. "Oi, wake up! You slept for 2 hours. Time to get up. You jolted, sitting up so fast it made you dizzy. You were in panic mode, eyes darting around the room. Where's Kirishima? And the others? Are they okay? Wait, where am I? Bakugo saw the look in your eyes, and immediately put his hands on your forearms to calm you down. Whoa, what are you talking about? Of course Kirishima's okay, idiot. He's in the house helping set the table for our first dinner here at the ranch. You began to realize all that you had experienced was just a nightmare, but the fear still haunted you. Oh, what time is it? Bakugo released you, shoving his hands into his pockets. It's 6:45 in the afternoon, you dumbass. You slept for more than 2 hours. You slowly looked down at your hands, watching as they continued to tremble from the lingering nightmare. You rubbed your eyes, letting out a shaky sigh. Okay, I'll be up there soon. Just give me a minute. Bakugo's eyes softened ever so slightly, climbing up the ladder a little more to sit on your mattress. You're shaking. Did something happen while I was gone? You didn't answer, your hands grabbing the sheets. Bakugo noticed. Of course he did. He noticed everything about you that others would easily miss. Oi, I asked you a question. Did something happen? You finally gave in, pulling your knees to your chest. It was just a stupid nightmare is all. Bakugo's eyes narrowed, and he scooted closer, which he never did with anybody. What kind of nightmare would get you this riled up? You shook your head, resting your forehead against your knees. The kind that is from trauma. Bakugo tensed for a moment, then glanced down at the floor. He whispered, his tone calmer than usual. One of those nightmares, huh? It's just a stupid dream. It can't hurt you. Despite his tone being softer, it only made you shrink back into the wall even more so than before. It was so real, though. The darkness, the forest, Kirishima's screams, that thing. You trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Before Bakugo could question you further, you were interrupted by the sound of the front door opening, Kirishima and Sero stepping inside, laughing about their current topic of discussion. Kirishima chuckled, half doubled over as he walked over to his bunk. That's crazy, man. I'm sure you never found your camera after dropping into the ocean like that. That's when he noticed the tension in the room, seeing you curled up against the wall with Bakugo sitting at the foot of the bed. Kirishima walked over and stood at the bottom of your ladder, looking up at Bakugo with concern in his gaze. Hey, what's going on? Did something happen? Bakugo shook his head, his voice soft in a way you rarely ever heard. Yeah, Squirt over here just had a really bad nightmare. They said you were in it, and got taken away by some creature or something. Kirishima's face fell, his concern for you worsening. Aw, firecracker. He climbed the ladder, sitting down next to you on your left side, with Bakugo sitting at your feet on your right. He wrapped an arm around your shoulders, pulling you into his side. You okay? Do you want to tell me what happened? You let out a shaky sigh, hugging him back. I had a nightmare where all you guys were gone. I woke up to find everyone missing and went to check outside. But when I went to search the woods, you came running out terrified. And a few moments later, you were dragged back into the woods and didn't come back. You didn't give many details, afraid that he might find a nightmare as specific as yours suspicious. Kirishima's brow furrowed, pulling you into a tighter hug. Hey, I'm here. I'm okay. Bakugo scoffed, putting an elbow on his knee. Squirt here said that you were attacked or something. By what? Kirishima bluntly asked, his arm still holding you against him. You didn't answer, your gaze dropping to your trembling hands. Bakugo answered for you. Based on their description, it sounded like a stupid monster of some sorts. Whatever it was clearly horrifying enough to make the Squirt terrified. Kirishima's eyes widened, looking at you. What? His arms tightened around your small form, whispering words of comfort. You're okay now. You're safe. You leaned into him, seeking solace in his embrace. He pulls back enough to look at you, his gaze gentle. But hey, let's take your mind off things by eating some dinner. That's actually why Sarah and I came. Bakugo went to get you earlier, but when you didn't show up, your mom sent the two of us to check and see if you guys were okay. You replied, "Oh, you didn't have to. Bakugo woke me up." "Yeah, but we came anyway." Bakugo scooted closer to briefly ruffle your hair, his touch gentle but also teasing. "Didn't realize you snored too." You swatted his hand away, your smile returning. "Hey, knock it off!" Soon the two boys were able to cheer you up, walking alongside you to the house for dinner. When you went inside, you found your mother standing by the kitchen counter, food covering the whole countertop. As for the dinner tables, she had bought some portable ones, also having set them up before your arrival. Deku had seen you three enter, waving to you. "Oh, hey! We were beginning to wonder what was taking you guys so long." Zero came in behind you, making his way to the kitchen to serve himself. You answered Deku, a bit of a sheepish smile on your face. "Yeah, sorry we worried you." He smiled, waving a dismissive hand. "No, it's okay. We were just concerned. Now, why don't you three get some dinner? Everyone has already served themselves, and are now at the tables chatting as usual." You nodded, but instead of heading to the counter for some food, you went straight to the kitchen where your mother had been fetching some drinks. You gently pulled on her arm, whispering to her, "Is Dad home yet?" She shakes her head, her expression worried. "Not yet, dear, but he said he's on his way." You sighed, running a hand through your hair. The hunger had been so hard to control, making you on edge and more aware of the smells in the air that surrounded you. Your mom saw this, and cupped your face with her hands. They were soft, but also calloused, and you couldn't help but lean into her touch. She kissed your forehead, wanting to ground you in any way she could. "Just hold on a little longer, all right? Your father will be home soon, and when he does, you both will be able to go into the forest." Her words did little to comfort you, but that was all you had, just the comforting words of the woman who raised you since you were born. You nodded, heading outside for some fresh air. The sun had already set behind the large mountains in the distance, making the usually miserable outdoors pretty refreshing. You couldn't help but notice just how dark it was, looking out at the fields. "I wonder," you said to yourself, "just how well someone would be able to see me if I was way out in the pastures." You gasped, realizing where your mind was going. "No, stop that, you can't." You placed your head in your hands, rubbing your temples. You need to get in a better headspace, and fast. You quickly went back inside, sitting down at the closest table near the door. You slouched a little in your chair, trying to relax and get out of your own head. Kirishima had seen you seated at your table, and came over to ask you a question. Hey," he spoke gently, leaning against the chair across from you ever so slightly. "You want to come and sit at our table? I saw that you were sitting by yourself and thought you might be lonely." He noticed you didn't have a plate of food with you, realization dawning on him. "Wait, did you even eat yet?" You shook your head, still a little dazed by what happened outside just a few moments before. I'm fine. I'll eat later." Kirishima didn't take the hint, pulling you by the hand out of your chair and towards the counter for serving. "Whoa, hey, what are you doing?" "I'm not letting you go to bed without eating. You need to take care of yourself better." But, to be honest, you just didn't want to eat in front of everyone. With your appetite out of control, you thought you'd most likely eat like a pig. So you protested. No, I'm fine. I'll come back to the kitchen later, I promise." He didn't prevail, serving you a plate of your favorite food and placing it at the table both he and Bakugo were sitting at along with a few other of your classmates. Kirishima had you sit down between him and Bakugo, wanting to ensure you wouldn't sneak off somewhere. "I'm going to sit here and make sure you at least eat a little bit. With all the traveling we did, I'm positive you're starving." You thought to yourself, "Dang, why must he be so persistent?" Bakugo glanced over to see you sitting quietly in your chair, not even poking at your food. "Oi, you sick or something? Why won't you eat your damn food like everyone else?" You picked up your fork, pushing your meal around your plate a little bit. "I'm just not that hungry." That was an obvious lie, and even they could tell. Both boys knew of your large appetite, and to hear you say the complete opposite was definitely strange. Kirishima bumped you with his elbow softly, trying to encourage you. "Come on, at least try. And if you can't, then you don't have to if it will make you sick." You swallowed hard, already feeling your mouth watering from the smell of the food. You took your fork, picking up a good portion and putting it in your mouth. You did this repeatedly, easing both of their worries. Bakugo took a sip of his iced water, then commented, "Looks like you were hungry after all. Knew there was no way someone like you could ever not be hungry." You winced at his comment, feeling like he was insulting you. I mean, he did practically call you a pig when he said that. "Please refrain from making that comment ever again, Katsuki Bakugo." He chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "No way I'm promising that, punk." Kirishima laughed softly, attracting the attention of your other classmates. Todoroki glanced over at you three and said in his usual tone, "Hey, guys, did you hear what Jiro was telling the group?" You three shook your heads. No, sorry, man," Kirishima said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Was it something important?" Jiro was just telling us some stories she heard from this place a few years back. It's quite mysterious. This caught your attention, making you stiff. "What kind of stories?" you asked, although you probably already knew the answer. Jiro smirked, crossing her legs. "Well, legend has it that a hunter went missing in the woods not too far from here, and has yet to be found to this very day." You tensed even more, knowing exactly what she was talking about. "Yeah? And what have you heard?" Jiro leaned forward, placing her elbows on the table. "Well, I'll tell you. From what I've heard, that hunter had either gotten lost and fell off a cliff somewhere, or he had been brutally murdered. Reports have said that all the police could find was his hunting rifle. Nothing else. Except they discovered a trail of blood that led deep into a cave under a small gorge, but they never found the body." She paused, letting the information sink in, then continued with her story. "This hunter had been missing for 6 years now, and no one has been able to solve this mystery. Now, remember how I said that he could have been murdered? Here are my theories on how and why. First, a hunter who knows this area wouldn't just get lost. Reports have proven that he grew up in these woods all his life, so he surely would have known the woods like the back of his hand. Second, why would he leave his rifle behind in the middle of nowhere? If he was in danger, he would have been clutching onto the thing for dear life, since it was his only way of self-defense. Third, the blood they found wasn't little droplets heading to the cave. Oh no. This was like a body was dragged to the cave while bleeding to death." Everyone froze, finding the story pretty disturbing. Ochako finally interrupted, a little scared. "But why would someone just murder him like that? What did he even do to deserve something like that?" Jiro nodded in agreement, understanding the confusion. "I honestly don't know myself. The police have kept that information from the public, as far as I know. I mean, they've probably ruled out that it was just some kind of serial killer, and that the hunter simply bumped into this so-called killer at the wrong place in the wrong time. But your guess is as good as mine." Your mother overheard from the kitchen, turning serious all of a sudden. "Whatever happened to that man is in the past now. Let's try to lighten up the mood a little by helping me clean up, Your chest began to clench a little, making your movements stiff as you gathered plates and glasses. Kirishima noticed your behavior, placing a hand on your shoulder. "You okay? Was Jiro's story too scary?" You shook your head. "Oh, no, it was fine. Just tired is all." He didn't want to push, helping you with the dishes. After the whole class had helped clear the tables and wash the dishes, they immediately went back to the cabin, feeling exhausted after such a long day. Your mother called out, "Sleep well, kiddos! Make sure to set your alarms for tomorrow." You looked over your shoulder, an almost scared look in your eyes, and your mother couldn't help but open her arms. You walked back, letting her embrace you. She whispered in your ear, her voice soft and sweet. "Everything's going to be okay, sweetie." You pulled back after a few moments, standing there for a little longer before heading straight for the cabin. Both Bakugo and Kirishima saw how your mother had embraced you, making them both a little concerned. That night, you pulled the covers over you, settling into bed. You tried your best to forget the story Jiro had told earlier, as you slowly drifted off to sleep. Wow, guys, okay, we made it through. Hold on, how many pages was that? That was Whoa, that was 31 pages worth. You guys better be happy with that. 31 pages. I'm not kidding. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was a that was a bit of a spooky one. I will admit that. But I think I wrote it pretty well. Let me know down in the comments how much you like this. If you watched to the very end of this video, go ahead and leave a, let's see. Go ahead and leave a ghost emoji if you watched till the end. And, you know, comment on how scary you thought this was. Was it pretty scary, or was it just a little bit for those who have listened to way more disturbing stuff than this? Well, anyway, so like and subscribe if you want to witness part 4, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys!